tiny countries like Curaçao and Cape Verde will go to the World Cup for the first time. Other extremely poor nations like Haiti and perhaps the Democratic Republic of the Congo will also be at the World Cup. But is this a miracle? Or is there something more behind it?
Hey there! You might know Barak in Spanish. Our channel has over 400,000 subscribers. Well, this is the official English version. Same content, same passion. Now in your language. But we need your help to grow. Hit that subscribe button and join us on this new journey. Now, let's get back to the video.
Footballers of Paraguayan descent born in Argentina are a controversial tradition in the Albirroja. Toro Acuña was a key figure for Paraguay in 3 World Cups. Lucas Barrios got his passport just in time to reinforce the national team that reached the quarterfinals in South Africa 2010 and almost knocked out Spain, if not for that penalty saved by Iker Casillas. Since then, Paraguay missed the last 3 World Cups, but they are back with their legend of Curepas, as Paraguayans call their southern neighbors, a legion led by left backs Agustin Sandes and Santiago Arzamendia, right back Juan José Cáceres, and midfielders Andrés Cubas and Alejandro Cacu Romero. Since the last time we saw them at the World Cup, Brazil 2014, it's no surprise that Algeria's national team is mostly composed of players born in France. After dramatically missing out on Russia 2018 and Qatar 2022, and unlike Nigeria and Cameroon who failed spectacularly, this time Algeria destroyed their qualifying group on the road to the 2026 World Cup, doing so with a balanced blend of players born in France and Algeria. Among the French-born standouts are their main reference, Riyad Mahrez, born in a Paris suburb, Ryan Etnuri, Manchester City player from Saint-Denis, Lyon products Amin and Houssem Awa, Ismaël Benacer from the French Riviera, Nabil Bentaleb from Lille, on the complete opposite side of the country, and many more Frenchmen, including none other than Zinedine Zidane's own son. Ivory Coast is another African powerhouse that had been absent from World Cup since Brazil 2014, now returning in 2026. Partly thanks to the expansion to 48 spots, which made things much easier, and partly thanks to the invaluable help of several French-born players who were decisive throughout a brutal qualifying run in which Ivory Coast not only finished undefeated, but didn't concede a single damn goal in any of their 10 matches on the road to the World Cup. Unlike Algeria, however, the Frenchification is indeed a new phenomenon. In 2014, the last time we saw them at the World Cup, Ivory Coast had 90% of its players born in Ivory Coast, including Yaya and Kolo Touré, Didier Drogba, Gervinho, Salomon Kalou, all the icons. Now, by contrast, 8 of the regular starters were born in France. Goalkeeper Yaya Fofana, defender Sevan Ndika, Willy Bolly, Angela Doué, brother of Desiree, midfielder Seko Fofana, and forwards Jeremy Boga, Nicolas Pepe, and Sebastian Haller. The last time New Zealand lost a World Cup match was a 4-0 defeat against the legendary Brazil of Spain '82, with 2 goals from Zico, 1 from Paulo Roberto Falcao, and 1 from Serginho. That was not their last World Cup appearance though. No sir! The All Whites were the only unbeaten national team at South Africa 2010, thanks to 3 draws against Slovakia, Paraguay and Italy, and they did it with 9 Kiwis, a German striker named Shane Smeltz, and an English defender named Tommy Smith. 16 years later, Tommy Smith will go to his second World Cup, but now surrounded by many more naturalized New Zealanders, specifically 4 Englishmen, 2 Scots, 1 Welshman, 1 Dutchman, 1 Swiss, and 1 South African. Just when we least expected it, when the country's capital is collapsing in no one's hands, Haiti returns to the World Cup 50 years later after its surreal appearance in Germany in 1974. Of course, players born in Haiti are not the majority in Haiti's national team. The squad that secured their historic qualification for the 2026 World Cup included 9 players born in France, 8 players 100% Haitian, most of them starters, 3 Haitian Canadians, 2 Haitian Americans, and 1 spoiled Haitian Swiss who completed the historic roster. Curaçao is not an independent country. It is a Caribbean island governed by the Kingdom of the Netherlands, formerly known as the Netherlands Antilles national team. Today Curaçao has only 1 Caribbean-born footballer, the midfielder Tahith Chong, a once promising Dutch prospect who never quite made it, a Manchester United academy graduate. Chong played 16 official matches for the Red Devils first team and now plays for Sheffield United in the second division. All the other members of the Curaçao national team were born in the Netherlands, starting with head coach Dick Advocaat, who managed the Dutch national team at the 1994 World Cup in the United States, at Euro 2004 in Portugal, and in the failed qualifying campaign for Russia 2018. Advocaat has taken this squad of Dutch castafs, footballers born far from Curaçao but with 100% Curaçaoan hearts, further than ever before. Curaçao qualified for the World Cup ahead of Jamaica, but that doesn't mean England B is eliminated. They still have one last chance in the Intercontinental Playoff, where Jamaica and Suriname will represent CONCACAF. The Reggae Boys currently have 14 English players, 10 Jamaica-born players, and 2 Americans. Chile, Peru, and Venezuela are literally the only South American countries that failed to qualify for the 2026 World Cup hosted in North America. The even always defenseless Bolivia managed to reach the playoff. And when I say literally, I mean literally. Even Suriname, the forgotten South American team in CONCACAF, is in the playoff. Let's not forget that 2 of the greatest midfielders in football history are Northern South Americans, Clarence Seedorf and Edgar Davids. Both were born in Paramaribo. Now, many other legends of the past and present weren't born in Suriname, but their parents were. From Ruud Gullit and Frank Rijkaard to Virgil van Dijk and Gini Wijnaldum. Suriname's national team today doesn't include the very best. Not Ryan Gravenberch, not Justin Kluivert, not Daniel Malen. But recently, both Suriname and Curaçao have managed to claim, at least, the slightly bruised fruit the Netherlands national team chooses not to pick. In the roster of 25 players for the last CONCACAF qualifying matchday, Suriname selected 20 players born in the Netherlands, 4 born in Suriname, and 1 born in Belgium. With an average of just 700 in GDP per capita, the Democratic Republic of the Congo is one of the 10 most hopeless countries on the planet. And if their national team doesn't slip up on the playoff, then in 2026 they will represent the poorest country ever to reach a World Cup, and not for the first time. The Democratic Republic of the Congo attended the 1974 World Cup in Germany under the name Sire. A memorable appearance, not just for their performance, but for several incomprehensible actions that, half a century later, are still viral. But times change. Back then, Sire went to the World Cup with a 22-player squad, every single one of them born in Congo. Today, on the contrary, in the list of 25 players who defeated Cameroon first and then Nigeria in the playoff, 8 players born in Belgium, 8 born in France, 2 in Switzerland, 1 in England, and 6 in the Congo. So, only about 25% truly know what it means to be born in such a vulnerable country. The national team that did qualify for a World Cup for the first time is Cape Verde, the Blue Sharks. The first and most basic thing you need to know about them is that you will never see them play in green. The second, Cape Verde with 500,000 inhabitants is the third smallest country among Africa's 54 nations. And finally, very few of those 500,000 people play for the national team. Specifically 10, which isn't bad. The rest is left to the specialized, 8 Portuguese, 7 Dutch, and of course, 1 Frenchman. After managing the fate of qualifying for 2 European Championships, Albania is now 2 steps away from playing the first World Cup in its history. The Albanian community is known for being scattered across Europe, and the football team reflects this perfectly. Medun Berisha, Nedim Bayrami, Arli Nejati, and Berat Dizimti are from Switzerland. Thomas Strakosha, Mario Mitai, and Enea Mihai were born in Greece. The mothers of Ardian Ismaili and Mirlin Daku gave birth in Kosovo. Ilber Ramdani and Narber Hosha come from Germany. Nasir Raji and Jania Tanasov come from North Macedonia. Armand Dobroja and Adrian Pashai are English, both ethnically Albanian. Same case as the Italian Maresh Kumbula and the Spaniard Ivan Valiu. The Turkish national team is also in the European playoff, on the way to finally returning to the World Cup since their last appearance, winning Korea-Japan 2002. Out of absolutely nowhere and who knows how, Turkey finished in 3rd place. That team featured support from German-born players like İlhan Menses, Yildiray Öztürk and Ümit Davala. But 25 years later, there are many more children of Turkish immigrants trying to bring the Ottoman team back to the World Cup. Turkey's 3 biggest figures today are Arda Güler, Kenan Yildiz, and Hakan Çalhanoğlu. Güler was born in Turkey, the other 2 in Germany. Same with midfielders Ali Özkan, Kaan Ayhan, attacking Curaçao and forward Ahmet Şetukoglu. But Germans aren't the only ones producing Turkish players. Right back Mert Mulder is Austrian. The other fullback Ferdi Kadioglu is Dutch. A sore midfielder Orkun Kökçü and attacker Oğuz Aydin. 2 additional forwards deserve mention. The giant Danish Gul, who previously played for Sweden, and because no national teams of this type can go without one, their French-born representative, Youssouf San. The United Arab Emirates has plenty of money, but lacks coordination in the legs of its own citizens. So their sheikhs meticulously devised a master plan to finally return to the World Cup for the first time since Italy in 1990. The strategy was for Emirati League clubs to sign a bunch of young Brazilian players and a handful of Argentinians, Portuguese and Africans, all aged 18 or 19 in 2019, and after 5 years processed their passports to easily bypass FIFA's rules meant precisely to avoid this kind of trick. For example, Oloin announced the signing of Kwame Anton, a 19-year-old Ivorian center-back, and after 5 seasons in the UA League, he was already able to play without restrictions for the national team at 24. And they did this with dozens of players. Until at the end of the road, the United Arab Emirates lined up in the decisive match against Iraq, a right-back from Tunisia, a center-back pair made up of a Brazilian and an Ivorian, a left-back from Portugal, 3 Brazilian midfielders, an Argentinian attacking midfielder, and a Brazilian center-forward. None of them has even half an Emirati root in their family tree. The UAE national team, with 1 local goalkeeper and 1 local midfielder, plus 9 fully foreign players, lost the playoff against Iraq. Not even with all of that could they make it to the World Cup.